Okay, so today we're going to talk about how to open a US bank account if you're not a US citizen or resident.
Yes, a lot of people out there are wondering whether they can open a bank account in the US, and today we'll evaluate the answers to that.
We will be answering a few questions, so if you're interested in any of these answers, you should stay in the video, otherwise, bye-bye. We will be answering like, why do you need a US bank account anyways?
Is it legal to have a US bank account as a non-resident? Like if you don't have a social security number or an ITIN?
Which documents do you need to open the bank account?
And how long does it take?
And how much money do you need, like when you're first opening your bank account? And finally, we'll give you like a few banks which we already know that you can process this.
All right, let's get into this.
So first of all, why do you need a US bank account?
Well, first thing is you might be someone who travels often to the USA, and you're also sometimes carrying a lot of money with you, and that is not convenient. So why not having this money in the US itself?
Especially because there's like a $10,000 limit that you can bring in cash.
Correct.
Well, you have a high usage of US dollars, so most of your transactions are mainly in US dollar. Then it might be convenient for you to have a US dollar account in USA.
Another thing is whether you're planning to send or receive US dollar from someone within the US or from abroad.
That's especially true if you're like a freelancer and you have a lot of US customers. You want your PayPal or direct deposits to be done in a US account.
Another thing is for future credit planning. That means if in the future you plan to move to the United States, then it is wise to start building credit. And we will see there are some ways, and you can to build credit, and you can start by creating a bank account.
Not really like if you want to just move to the US. Maybe you have plans to borrow money in the future from a US bank. Some banks might allow you to do it without even being a resident, but you need to have a good credit score, so that's how you need a bank account to start that. The second question we wanted to answer is it legal to have a US bank account as a non-resident? We are not lawyers or experts in the matter, but as far as we know, there is no law that prohibits you from opening a bank account.
So yeah, this means that when you walk into the bank and ask for this, you're not really doing anything illegal. You don't really need to be hiding the fact that you don't live in the US. Or, the bank will know for sure that you don't live there. So there's nothing bad about it, and you can for sure apply for it.
They will still ask you like, why are you even opening an account? And you might provide one of the answers of the previous reasons, like you travel very often to the US or you want to receive payments. All of those answers are okay with the bank. The third very important question is, which documents do I need to bring to get this done?
So the first one is you will need 2 identifications. That could be your passport or other sort of identification. For example, your license, your national ID, or your international license.
Preferably if it's in English. So we went to 2 banks. One bank was really okay with taking national IDs, which was in Spanish. But some banks, they will tell you like, oh, do you have another one in English? Otherwise, we need to translate it. So just have that in mind if you have an alternative option. Otherwise, bring a translated document with you just to ease the process. We didn't have any problem with that, but the bank does that.
So yeah, the international license, for example, is usually written in English. So if you have that, bring that. That would be definitely the best choice.
Yeah. The second thing you need is a proof of address. So only one of the bank asks for that. That's why we have the asterisk. Definitely Wells Fargo didn't ask for a proof of address, but some did. Yeah. And local phone number and address. Again, this depends on the bank.
Correct, but you might want to have prepared a local phone number. It's not a number that that they will call you to, but it's a number because they have these forms that it's a requirement that they need to fill. So again, you're on a line, they know that that's not your phone number, so you can just put the phone number of some family or friend that you have in the US.
Yeah.
And same for the address. Now for the address, it depends on the bank. Some banks will send your card to your foreign address, some banks will not. So again, prepare a local address in case you need to receive your credit card, your bank account card to a local address in the US.
Right. Just like he said, you don't really need they know if it's a family or friends, so don't worry about that. Another one is how long does it take? Can you get this done in 3 days in the US, 1 day? And the answer is that yes, it's super fast. As long as the bank is not busy, it could take 1 to 2 hours. It really depends on the bank, and then how much things are you doing. Are you only opening a bank account, checking saving, and are you even applying for a credit card? And we didn't need any appointment, but that, I think it depends on the bank, right? We were just lucky we didn't need any appointment.
Yeah, it probably depends on the bank, but feel free to walk into any bank and ask for it.
Right. Another very important question is how much money do you need to open these bank accounts? It depends on the bank. So you need to deposit money when you open these accounts, but there is a minimum you need to have to avoid the monthly maintenance fee. Right.
So the bank account needs some money inside the account for you to avoid the fees, as she just said, and it depends on whether you open a checking bank account and a savings bank account. If you open both, some banks will require you to have a specific amount of money in each of these accounts, so that will be separate. Or some banks say that you can have a combined balance of money in both accounts. So it really depends on the bank. But as far as we know and we have experience, you don't really need a lot of money to open the bank account itself. Having 25 to 50 US dollar already, it's enough to open the bank account.
Right, and so that you guys have an idea of how much money, both banks where we applied for the checking account to waive their monthly fees was having 1,500, and for the saving account in Wells Fargo was 300 minimum. Otherwise, you have a maintenance fee. There are other ways to waive the fees, but it really depends on the bank. For us, the best alternative was just to deposit the minimum, no brainer. You don't need to keep an eye on it. It was the easiest way. And Citibank was really good to provide you can have a combined, so whatever you have in the checking plus whatever you have in the saving together, they add up 1,500. That was cool. But for Wells Fargo, we needed to prepare 1,800, so 1,500 checking and then 300 in savings.
Again, you don't really need to wire in this money or deposit this money right immediately, when you open the account. For example, Wells Fargo gives you 60 days after you open the account to actually fund it with the minimum balance that you need, so that you don't get charged.
Citi required 7 days, so they don't have Wells Fargo, so 60 days, they only have 7. So again, this is another thing that really depends on the bank.
And even if you don't get to do it within that time, the only inconvenience that you'll have is that you'll have to pay the monthly maintenance fee, which right now at this moment in 2019 is around $12 in each of these banks.
And the happy question, which banks can we use? We already mentioned 2, which is Wells Fargo, we have an account there. Citibank, we have an account there. And then others we've heard, we have a not confirmed, we don't know. And again, this is as for 2019 June. It's still working. Capital One, and
the other one is Bank of America.
Right, so I think that's a good amount of choice. Some of these banks don't offer any information online, So the best way for us was to literally drop into the bank, or feel free to call them. Most of them also told us that we could have called beforehand and asked for this information.
All right, so that's pretty much it. We hope that you can also get your bank account as we did.
And if you have any questions, just leave a comment and we'll see if we can answer.